particular are you looking forward to?
I mean, these guys have played before, and last time in Toronto it was a very tight matchup. I believe Austria coming out the better team there, in the pools at least. And of course these boys play each other a lot on the European scene, with players from the likes of Catch-Up Graz, Big Easy, and of course the British boys of Chevy and Clapham. So it's going to be a very contested matchup, but let's get down to the play. Currently the GB offense is out with James Mead on the disc. He looks for his break inside, finds Williams. Williams faking with the lefty, gets it back to Walsh. Walsh from Sheffield Hallam. Wants the reset, gets inside to Long. Long's pretty much isolated, but eventually finds Mead. Not much cutting going upfield, but eventually Williams gets a... Oh, the floaty disc by Mead there, not able to connect with Williams. And Austria now with a chance for a very early break in this game.
A little bit of a mistake, a hurried disc to a man who didn't seem to be that free. Big pressure from the Austrians getting the turn. And it's number 6, Dragerschläg. My Austrian pronunciation may suffer from time to time during this game, but we'll try our very, very best. Thomas Mitterer, 2 of the Mitterer brothers on the Austrian team. Thomas Mitterer sends a big disc. What a strong arm he's got. It's flying high. Luke Obermeier reading that beautifully. Reading it better than his Great Britain counterpart as well. He dishes it and runs into the end zone for himself. Nice, quick turn of feet from Luca Obermeier. Impressive handoff to Philipp Kral. And then the two of them understanding each other exactly what was needed. They take an early lead. 1-0 is the score. Austria versus Great Britain in the open division.
Yeah, Thomas Cartwright there on defense for Great Britain. Tried to go in early to bring his defender in, but the Austrian just read it a little bit better and was able to get that dishy goal. The break there for Austria, but it's very early in the game. I think the GB boys will want to take their time now, get this offense in, and have a little go at breaking the Austrians themselves.
So I think what we might do, because our roster for Great Britain is a little bit on the flaky side, is David is going to do the play-by-play for Great Britain, and I'm going to do the play-by-play for Austria, and we'll try and do colour for each other.
Yeah, so much colour. I think
like a Picasso painting, there'll be so much colour.
So GB now on offense. Parsons fielding the ball to Hodges. Hodges swings it to Strasser, who looks deep and puts it straight away. Luckily the Austrian defender slipped. Parsons to reel it in. Cartwright the younger looks back to Hillman. Hillman now on the disc. Resets to Hodges. A little bit of a give and go with Hodges and Hillman. All the H's and an easy swing and goal, but a pick called in the stack. You can see there the Wooftoof hand signal for a pick being used. There's now an argument as to whether he's within 3 meters or not.
There's a 77 shirt of Thomas Mitterer, who's going to need to do some catching up.
And they've gone to the advisors, who can only advise. They're not observers. And a goal has been given for Cartwright there from Hodges.
It was nice flowing offense from Great Britain, the nice 1-2 combination in the middle of the pitch, and the perfectly timed and well-executed cut from Cartwright, making himself available in the end zone. A lot of discipline on that Great Britain offense, playing with the principles that their coach Jules has instilled in them all these years. I was watching their Colombia game last night. I was expecting that to be a really tough challenge, but in the end, Colombia just didn't have the answers to the questions that Great Britain were asking them.
Yeah, we were also watching it on the end of the pitch, just next to this one. And yeah, it didn't seem like the Colombians were prepared for the sort of smooth, possessive ultimate that GB brought to the game. And even on defense, there's a lot of pressure from the GB boys that they just couldn't handle.
You've seen this Great Britain team develop underneath Jules' leadership over a number of years. In fact, she was coaching the under-20 team 2 or 3 years ago, when a lot of the same players were under her there as well. So she's had a lot of experience bringing these players up through the ranks. Austria now. Peter Stoft. And Gazal sends a big disc up. It's going to be caught underneath that. It's going to be pressure from Great Britain. Not quite enough pressure, though. The big 80 shirt of Wolfgang Mitterer, Thomas's brother, brings that disc down under some heavy Great Britain pressure. And both teams being clinical with their offense so far.
Yeah, Michael Guy's there on defense. I think he did a good job, actually. But the Austrians yet again able to reel it in off a long shot. It looks like they are looking long very early with some nice floaty discs.
We were chatting to one of the Austrian team beforehand. They only got their final confirmation that they were into the tournament a couple of months ago, so they've only had 2 weekends to practice as a team, and they've not played any tournaments as a unit in advance of this week in London. So he said it's actually had a really positive effect on the team. They're growing with each game that they play together. They're learning, and they're having an awful lot of fun as a unit. So positive from the Austrian team, despite their lack of preparation.
On the other hand, GB very well prepared with many trips to Windmill, UK Tour, and straight away Hodges with an audacious inside-out backhand. Looking for Ben Parsons, probably didn't want to quite throw that option.
Too much slide on that one for Parsons to get anywhere near it. If it slid the other way, he was right on track, but the 44 shirt of Clemens Kogard comes to pick up now for Austria. To Luca Obermeier. Fast cutting from Mitterer, sends it, strong sidearm. Great Britain. Oh, what an incredible grab! Despite the pressure from Great Britain. Head in his hands on the floor as he sees the outstretched Austrian hand wrap their fingers around the disc. Clemens Kogard, end-to-end stuff from him to get the point for Austria. So it wasn't Kogard, was it?
Yeah, that was unlucky there for Matt Aspen. Made a great play on the disc, but that old adage of catch your D's kind of comes to mind. Unlucky there for Aspen, and I think a timeout has been called, potentially by GB.
I was trying to confirm who the player was. It was it might have been Philip Král with the green hat on his head. Certainly a number started with a 4. Difficult to read some of these Austrian numbers on the back of the shirt, slightly smaller than some of the other teams are sporting. It's probably worth reminding people when you are ordering your kit that the commentators do have a perspective on how big your numbers are. We'd like them as big as possible and as clear to read as possible. If you want us to say your name correctly when we're commentating on your game, just give us a bit of thought when you're ordering your kit, and don't order white on white, which is what the Mexicans have done.
Yeah, the Mexican kit is very hard to read, as I remember a couple of days ago. Going back to your point, Tom, about the Austrian team's preparation, I know that a lot of them have played in the previous under-23s and have come up together as juniors. So, as in certain sort of pods and groups, they've definitely played together and probably don't need the sort of preparation that teams like GB have that come from all sorts of different clubs. And may or may not have played together over a longer period of time.
It was Philip Král who took that amazing one-handed grab at the end of the last point for Austria with the green hat. I'm trying to remember him as the games go on. Clemens Kogard in the 44 shirt is the chap I mistook him for. And the Mitterer brothers have been playing an awful long time. I remember they won at Paganello back when I was commentating on that in what must have been 2009 as juniors.
Wow, showing your age, Tom.
It's a lot of it to show. And Thomas Mitterer, we was going to see him with the handling. Big puts on both sides.
This is Walsh centering to Long, straight across the mid, the centre handler for this GBO line. He's got a poach on the far side. but gets it to Poole, Benedict Poole of Emo. Backed along with, not really getting very far forward, but eventually resetting through Cartwright to Mead, who's looking deep, marked out. Thomas Cartwright going down the line. Takes his time. He wants that centre, gets it from Long. Long swings it across to number 5 here, Ben Burak. Burak to Mead. It's right on this far sideline. Mead centres back to Burak. Burak to Walsh, under a lot of pressure, but holds on to the disc. Some very physical marks here from Austria. Eventually goes down the line with a nice grab for Cartwright. Oh, and Cartwright just trying to squeeze it down that near sideline. But Austria, coming out lucky out of that throw there.
Almost a mistake of their own as Marcus Cranes reaches up high to grab that one. He's dumped it quickly off to Mitterer. Mitterer advancing now. Florian Moyak, who is the big bid, but he makes a mistake. And the disc goes to ground, and Great Britain have got it back again. No fast start from Great Britain.
Yeah, Poole really wanted that to go quickly. He had an isolation with Burak going deep, but Burak didn't fancy his matchup there. So Long now picking up. Gets it over to Poole. No cuts upfield for GP, but eventually coming out the stack is Burak, or I can't see, I think that's Sax Dixon, sorry. Goes high and around to Poole. Still no cuts upfield. The GB boys are being a bit lazy upfield, and miscommunication with the dump between Mead and Poole. An unfortunate turnover there for GB.
Hiding behind their markers, some of the Great Britain players, as Mitterer comes to pick it up for Austria, and a call on the play.
There's a foul upfield.
Bit of bumping into each other. Both these teams not shy of the physicality that this match is sure to present.
Crowd starting to fill in the stand a little bit here.
Well, they know this one's going to be a close one. Both these teams come through their pools with strong performances. Into this power pool. Tap back in. Mitterer over the top. Michael Guy's over the top, and it's gone too high. A mistake.
It looks like the Austrians like this high release flick that's trying to go over and around the force.
The wind causing a few issues. The wind is on our backs. We're in the top of the stands opposite the camera, and the wind is on our backs, so it's blowing down and swirling across the top of these stands. GB have got it again. GB
isolating in an open lane there. Mead doesn't like what he sees, gets it to Long, who swings it straight across to Cartwright, and it's a bit too quick, a bit too far away from him. Unable to reel that one in.
If these teams can cut out the mistakes, they're being given the disc. Both teams have been given the disc an awful lot. So Tobias Doppelbauer with the disc. Centres it. Luca Obermeier.
They've called the timeout there.
Timeout. Very wise under the conditions. Both teams making mistakes with an opportunity to score for Austria here, but not in any need to hurry it this early in the game. Timeouts are plenty available. Nervy start from both teams, David.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, as we said in the previous pools, that both teams very strong, very dominant, holding onto the disc in exactly the way you would expect from teams of this ilk. Maybe they're feeling a bit tired. I mean, it's third day here in London, and Austrians' first time on the stream. Maybe they're feeling a bit of nerves from home, but still some good plays. Both teams ready, very ready to play some physical defense at least.
So you're watching Sky Magazine's coverage of the WFDF World Under-23 Ultimate Championships from University College London Sports Ground in St Albans on the edge of the capital. And you're listening to Tom Stiles and David Price from the Show Game, who's providing all of the online written coverage, some of the journalism that's going on. A big crew for the Show Game down here. And the video footage has been brought to you by Sky Magazine. Our sponsors for the tournament are VC and Discraft. We're also working in conjunction with an awareness-raising charity called Eric. And we'll show an advert for that at the half-time break. Let's say hello to all the people who are watching in Austria from Andy, who's up here in the crowds. He's obviously got a lot of Austrian fans out there. The comments in the video stream, next to the video stream, they can be seen by Mike, our production guy, back in the tent. They can't be seen by us, I'm afraid. So if you want to get hold of us, Twitter is your best option. Use WU23UC is the hashtag to use. WU23UC, World Under-23 Ultimate Championships.
You can also use my Twitter handle of @David_Price or @TheShowGame.
Or @Tom Styles for me.
Tom Styles for Tom, and you'll be able to see that and maybe get a few shout-outs later on in the game.
Back into the game with Luca Obermeyer. Disc shot early to the end zone and finding space and time. Big 17 shirt of Michael Gazail.
You can probably hear on the stream there GB Open doing some British club team chants there, the Fire of London chant of 1-2-3. But the score here is not in their favour. It's currently 4-1 to the Austrians.
The Austrians have made a rapid start to this game. Great Britain are doing an ironic chant of USA yesterday, which much to the amusement and some confusion of the crowd. Certainly the American players looking at each other like, well, hang on a minute, that's our shout.
I think they just can't make their own chants up, so they're just using as many of the other teams as they can as possible.
Just reappropriate as many teams. Interesting chatting to the USA Open coach, Joe, the other day about their preparation for this tournament. I'm very, very jealous of the opportunities that Great Britain has, being geographically a much smaller nation, able to run weekend tournaments where everybody's able to attend. The USA only able to get together twice before this week. They have a lot of extra players to pull from, but that chemistry that comes from practicing as a unit has not been available to the USA. Let's see what Great Britain can make of the opportunities they've had to train together.
There's a very nice pull there from Austria, but Hodges just to take his time and nearly gave away Callahan. Hillman though reeled it in. Austria seem to be having some sort of poachy set on the hoe stack here. Hillman now gets the break out to Declan Cartwright. Cartwright resets to Hammond. The hammer thrower from the first game. Now the disc with Parsons. It's on 8, stall 8, but just gets it out to Hillman. Hillman gets it in a nice give and go now between Hillman and Hodges. Working well together this game so far. And a travel call, probably.
Clemens Kogard asking that disc to come back. Not entirely satisfied. And the game advisor stepping in and just questioning Kogard's decision making about that.
I think Hillman actually asked whether it was a good call or not. As the advisors can't step in, they have to be called in. Hillman flowing down the line there. Not happy to have his flow ruined by Kogard's call, but those are the rules. So eventually gets over to Hammond with a lovely backhand swing to Andrew Dick, the poster boy for UK Ultimate this week, getting his picture in the Independent. Parsons with a beautiful backhand break to Hammond. Hammond swings out to Hillman. Again, another swing. GB playing some very, very good possession ultimate here. Parsons gets it to Strasser. Strasser fakes the hammer. Not able to make his defender go with it. Strasser goes up and around to Hodges. Gets up. And a pick has been called on the field. Austria really putting some pressure on the GBO here. The space on the far side of the pitch for that hammer to go as well. There was a really great cut from Great Britain out into that far corner, but playing the high percentage passes only at the moment for Great Britain. Hodges, high reset to Strasser. Strasser goes deep to Hillman, and it's gone a bit too far. The Austrians will be able to read it better. And I think a bit of impatience there in the GB offense. They were doing so well just keeping the disc, but they just wanted to score a bit too much and a bit too soon. Julian Menz read that disc perfectly, got himself into the right position, and didn't give the Great Britain
receiver any opportunity to get near that disc. He'd gone a little bit inside too much. Wasn't able to cut out back to the middle of the pitch to receive it. And we've seen Clemens Kogard come to pick it up for Austria. You're listening to Sky Magazine's coverage of the World Under-23 Ultimate Championships from London. You're listening to Tom Stiles, and with me is David Price. David doing the play-by-play for Great Britain. I'm covering Austria. Kogard jacks it straight away. Big disc floating. There's going to be pressure underneath this one for sure. High early bid from Great Britain, but the outstretched Michael picks that one up, sends it into the end zone. Oh, they make it look so easy. What ups that guy has got. 17 shirt of Michael Gazel taking the disc so high from that deep shot from Kogard. Impressive stuff from the Austrians. And GB at the moment unable to live with the Austrian team. They are leading this one 5-1.
Yeah, it's another break for the Austrians. I'd be a bit concerned now if I was Jules or any of the coaching staff. We need to change something, make sure we can keep our offense rolling so that we can potentially get these breaks back.
Have you had a chance to talk to any of the players about their footwear choices on this sports ground, David? Because it seems to be draining extremely well, which usually tends to mean that the surface will be fairly firm.
I haven't had a chance to talk to players in particular, but I did speak to one of the tournament organisers, Benji Hayward, when we had a bit of a rainfall earlier today. It was quite heavy, and in the car park, there were puddles forming. Yet on the pitches, no effect. The drainage here is very, very good. It's used for a Premiership football team, Watford. So GB back out on offence, hoping to at least hold this one. Walsh swings it to Guys. Down the middle to Poole. Got pretty much a whole new line on here. Poole under a bit of pressure, but gets it out to Walsh. So we're going backwards again here with Mead with a lovely break to Sax Dixon. Sax Dixon eventually resets to Mead. Every time that GB gets forward, they get pushed back, but Walsh able to get that down the line. Here we go again. A nice high release by Walsh to Dixon. Resets to Walsh, swings across to Mead. Another nice swing to Williams. Getting a bit close to the end zone now. We want to take our time. Mead fakes the break. Takes on the open Guys. Mead wants it back straight away. Oh. And a potential fast count, but stall out has been called.
Luca Obermeier making that stall very aggressive, waving his hands above the head, down low, jumping around on his toes the whole time. And the stall counts, as he seems to be talking about it being a bit fast there.
Yeah, lovely grab there by Sax Dixon, potentially saving that offensive point.
Just see the game advisors getting involved in the chat as well. Game advisors listening to the chat, making sure everything is taking place as it should. They're not actively involved in this conversation yet because they've not been invited to be actively involved in this conversation yet. Is that correct? We've got one of the game advisors with us, Liam Kelly, up in the stands here. Liam, what's going on with the game advisor in this position?
Cameron was just getting himself into a position that he could hear what the call was, so if he was to be involved, he wouldn't be delaying the game further. It seems like he didn't need to be. Perhaps a little clarification on, what should happen. More than likely, Cameron just said, get on with the game.
So, Guys gets the reset eventually out to Dixon. Oh, and a lot of pressure there for Williams. Williams swings it out to Mead. Mead fakes the hammer. Centers to Guys, who goes straight around to Strasser. Taking their time here outside the end zone. Burak on the disc. So hasn't got many options, but eventually Strasser there on that far sideline. And the inside break for Guys. What a lovely bit of offense. Taking their time this time and making sure with that final goal. Now 5-2 to Austria.
Daniel Strasser with the, was that the Daniel Strasser with the disc, the number 3 shirt?
Yes.
What an incredible break force to thread that between his mark and the into the end zone. Fantastic stuff.
You could even see him nodding his head as he wanted that cut to go to the break side there.
So Great Britain levelling themselves a little bit and trying to recompose with the pressure the Austrians they're putting Great Britain under is the thing that's really outstanding in this first part of the game. And when they do get given the disc, and Great Britain have been giving them the disc a little bit too much at the moment, they've been dominant with it and scored with relative ease. Some big physical players for Austria. Some aggressive marking. By no means is this going to be an easy game for either side. Austria currently up 5-2. Big disc flying into the end zone. Austria starts in the centre of the pitch. 42 shirt of Peter Stofter. And forcing a mistake, he's going to be caught in the middle of the end zone. Forward and advancing to Novak. Mitterer. This is Wolfgang Mitterer. Makes its way across. The 7 shirt for Austria. Spreading the play nicely, keeping away from their Great Britain defenders. Peter Stofter sends a disc hammer into the end zone. Great work from Austria. Seemingly Great Britain with no answer to the flow and the aggression, the speed of the Austrian cutters, and it's a hammer that exposes the space on the break side. 6-2 they lead, dominating this one against Great Britain in the open division so far.
Yeah, GB don't look as close on defense as the Austrians do to them. They need to tighten up, stop giving them those easy gains down the break side. But well played, Austria. Some very nice offense in there. Always looking dangerous. Each one of them on the disc.
Yeah, the Mitterer brothers, Thomas and Wolfgang. Wolfie, as he's sometimes known. Wolfie was about 13 years old down in Paganello, 2009. A long time ago when I was down there, winning Austrian glory in the junior division. And they've grown together, and we've seen we do see an awful lot of siblings in the game of Ultimate. The one thing that really makes players stand out, especially at the junior level, is the time they've been able to spend throwing. If you have got a sibling that's available to just spend hours pinging discs backwards and forwards, it makes a big difference. Great Britain on the disc once more.
And there's actually 2 brothers on the GB team, the Cartwright brothers, Declan and Thomas. So that's who's on the disc right now, actually. Thomas Cartwright from Chevron Action Flash. Swings to his club counterpart, James Mead. Gets it to Burak. We've just had Liam Kelly drop all his change. So if anyone wishes to get about, well, £3, come to the stand now. You'll be able to get a beer from the bar with that. So Cartwright on the disc now on this far sideline, faking a massive flick. Gets it back to Burak. They're cutting hard, but just not able to get free. It feels like the Austrians are very tight. Pick has been called. Cartwright gives it straight back with a nice no-look scuba, actually. I think we've almost collected all of Liam Kelly's change. He's giving me the thumbs up now.
You didn't say Russian, did you, a minute ago? Definitely Austrian.
Austrian, sorry. Apologies if I said Russian. Cartwright now. It's just a Cartwright Burak game in this point so far. Bit of dancing there from Burak. Wants to get on Strictly. Swings it over to Mead. Mead really wants that deep shot, but no one's timing their cuts well off that. Dixon now on that near sideline. Oh, and it's a bit too low and a bit far behind, guys. Austria with a very nice bit of D in this point. Now on disc.
Philip Crowell laying himself horizontal to get that block. Michael Geisel. And it's Crowell again rising high with ease, and he sends it into the end zone. There's going to be some pressure from Great Britain underneath this, and reads it well. And a turnover, no complaint there from Florian Moik.
Yeah, it's well boxed out by guys. He was right next to him. Just had to stick tight, make him bid early. Mead now walking up to bring the disc forward.
It's an impressive 17 shirt for Austria. Michael Geisel is with the cap on backwards, tall and physically solid athlete.
So GB with a very short host stack set here, potentially looking to go deep. Not able to get that out. Dixon swings it over to Cartwright. Cartwright Senior. Middles to Mead. They've got looks like they don't really want to break the mark, but eventually gets it down the open lane to Dixon. Back to Cartwright and Walsh. There we go, onto the break side with Williams. Williams puts it deep. Dixon underneath it. Is it too far? Just about. He had a lot of pressure there from Geisel, who's now indicating he wants a timeout. But that's the first real long shot we've had from the GB Open players. And didn't quite connect the way they wanted.
I think the big difference between the two teams we've seen so far is the amount of time they're having to stall before they send the disc. So every single pass there that was caught, and it was probably stalled 5 or 6 before the next pass got out. Whereas when Austria are playing, it's stall, barely gets to stall 1 a lot of the time. The disc is moving so fluidly, and Austria do call that timeout. 6-2's the score. You're listening to Sky Magazine's coverage of the World Under-23 Ultimate Championships from the University College London Sports Ground in St Albans on the edge of the capital. You're listening to Tom Stiles and David Price covering this one for you. In the Open Division, Great Britain currently trail Austria 6-2. If you do want to get in touch with us on Twitter, you can send us tweets. At Sky Magazine is the main tweet. You can also at Tom Stiles if you want me, at David_Price if you want David, and at the show game is also being covered.
I've got nothing.
You've got no tweets at all,
David. Nothing at the minute.
There's no love from the Ultimate community. So if you are out there in the Ultimate community, there's a couple of things we'd like from you. One, send us a tweet, tell us where you are, tell us where you're watching. If you're watching in Austria particularly, do love the international Ultimate coverage being reflected in our comments and our tweets. Tell us that you're watching. The other thing I'd really like you to do, and you can do this straight away, copy the link from the browser you're watching this on, or the phone you're watching it on, and just send it to your social media network. So make it in your Facebook status. Say, I'm watching Ultimate live at the moment. You can do this during the timeout. It's not going to take 2 seconds, and then everybody else will know that there's top quality Ultimate on the interwebs that they can watch straight away. The Ultimate community needs to take a front foot in spreading the word about our fantastic sport, and there's no better time to do that than when we've got international Ultimate available for people to watch. They can get excited about the tournament. They can ask the questions about the sport which they've never asked before, and this game is turning into a real spectacle for them to watch, and Sky's coverage is a really nice way of spreading the word. The games are going to be live, available on the internet for as long as the internet cares to remember them for, and so people will be able to watch these games for a long time. And we've seen some very big numbers on some of the games that we've been covering so far. The India-Ireland mixed game had already had 6,000 or so views, and it had nearly 2,000 people watching it live as well.
The internet never forgets, Tom. The internet never forgets. Just like Blockstack is still there somewhere in the annals of Ultimate history.
It is.
All those wine tasting sessions are still there. And that couch. We love that couch.
Austria making a mistake there. Michael Geisel with an error, throwing it straight to his Great Britain counterpart.
Yeah, and Cartwright cleaning up there, getting the disc moving straight away down the line, and unable to hold on to it, given that option to strike quickly, giving it straight back to Austria.
Paul Dragerschlig bidding, laying out. It's Thomas Mitterer going to ground. absolutely committed to this team, absolutely committed to keeping that disc alive. Laser sharp disc. Pinged it straight. He got such great wrists.
Some good spirit there from Michael Guy, saying it didn't affect his cut, letting the disc go to the Austrian player there.
26, Tobias Doppelbauer. Dragashilig. Mitterer. Geisel. Geisel sends it. Underneath that, it's going to be red. Well, oh, what a take, what a read. Looking back over his shoulder the whole way, Philip Kral. No question in his confident way he approached that disc. One of the most difficult receiving moves to make that. The disc over his shoulder the whole way, running full pace. But he brings that down, and it's 7-2. And Great Britain not calling a timeout. They're still proceeding with what looks to be a fairly one-sided game. Austria, the Austrian crowd waving their flags in the air and advertising the skiing options available in the aforementioned country. If you haven't enjoyed the Austrian Alps, I highly recommend them.
We can't really argue there. Not really got the British Alps or the skiing. I mean, Scotland, yeah, I guess there are some mountains, but they're not really snowy and alpine.
Yes.
Maybe you go to Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes has a snow dome, yeah.
Snow dome.
It's not an Alp, though, is it?
No, not quite. It's not.
What it makes up for in snow, it lacks in culture.
It's got a lot of roundabouts. So anyway, back to the Frisbee. A lovely pull by the Austrians, really giving them a chance to put pressure on the GB offense. Parsons with a massive fake, getting his defender all over the shop. Breaks to, oh, nice bid by Paul to keep that disc up. Gets it to the middle to Andrew Lewis, Fire of London legend. Across to Parsons. Parsons also playing on the senior team, as well as Hillman now on the disc. And Cartwright. So Hillman, under a bit of pressure, goes all the way back to Parsons. Swings it across to Poole. Poole breaks beautifully to Andrew Lewis. Lewis looking sideways. Doesn't like what he sees upfield, but gets it to Hillman. And again, Fire of London player to Fire of London player. Swings it to Parsons. Back, we're going very far away from the disc now, the upfield cutters. Ed Hammond takes it on to Andrew Lewis, who's just not quick enough to get there.
Look at the foot speed from Florian Moyak. Even if the disc was good there, the incredible pace of the Austrians just ripped straight past the Great Britain offensive receiver. It was going to be in front of that disc, even if it had floated in the air long enough. But a little bit of hesitancy to take that deep shot on. I think Great Britain have dominated in the end zone in previous games and have had a lot of confidence to send that deep shot and use their receivers. But against the Austrians, they're feeling that they don't have that option. Is not quite so solid. It's not quite as strong. The Austrian athleticism, a big factor in that. And they advance to the disc. Now a big early release. It's going to be up in space. It's floating. There's going to be pressure from Great Britain underneath this disc. But he just holds a position beautifully there. Julian Menz managing to position his body underneath that. Takes it two hands. Keeps it alive. Florian Moyak. Fast-paced cut. We saw a minute to go, but he's given the disc back. Great Britain advancing, floating into space. Great one-handed grab.
Pull to Parsons is always going to bid. Pull back to Poole again. It's just them working it up the pitch. Now with Hammond, the captain, fakes a lot. And of course, he goes to the hammer to Poole for an easy goal and a lovely kick spike.
That is where the space is on this team. When Great Britain are attacking against Austria, they need to get the hammers out. They need to break open. The open side has been closed down by the Austrian athleticism, but they have those discs. And so many times we've seen in that previous point, Great Britain trying to squeeze the disc down the open side, having to do slow, relaxed breaks around the back, which is not getting them at any yards at all. But so many times we're seeing the space is existing there on the far side of the pitch. They just need to get the hammers out a little bit more, empty the toolbox. Hammers and scoobers aplenty.
Just being told that down here in the crowd, we have Marlborough Science Academy who've come here. They're a secondary school who've tried Ultimate out, and they've come here to watch the GB Open, and later I assume the GB women players play. So hope you guys are enjoying watching, and maybe you can see from home your kids here watching the game. Hope you're enjoying all the coverage here by Sky Magazine. Paul goes up.
And Steve Giguere's watching, and so is Chino 582. I hope you're enjoying the coverage we're bringing you from London. And number 7 shirt for Austria, not on our roster, but he sends a big disc anyway. Big high. Caught again. These Austrian receivers are reading the disc so well. Looking for options into the end zone now. 66 is Dominic Olsel. Bid, 2 bids, but nothing to show for it. The pressure from Great Britain didn't get the turn, but the disc was beyond the Austrian receiver. The 80 shirt of Wolfgang Mitterer is beyond him, and it goes to ground. Great Britain have been given the disc back.
Just had a nice picture from Cy East from Sheffield, watching at home, not getting any work done, but he's enjoying the coverage here. So GB now a chance to keep this disc, and James Mee going deep straight away to Burak sliding, and instantly puts it up to Rowledge. Simple 2-pass ultimate. When they take on those open options, they look pretty much unstoppable. It's now 7-4 to Austria. GB now able to get themselves back in this game after a slow start.
I chatted to Jules Murray about their game against Colombia yesterday, and Jules was saying, look, we have some of the best receivers at this tournament in Great Britain. That's the part of their game they need to use to stretch teams when they're playing against them. And so far in this game, they've seemed a little nervous to really take advantage of that strength they have. But there we saw it, and when it does come off, they have the they have the skills, they have the players to make it happen. They trail Austria 7-4. He's got a photograph of Steve Giguere's working from home office there on Twitter. Computers for doing some work, and then 2 separate screens for watching us and keeping track of the rest of the tournament on the tournament website. So thank you very much for showing that. And Ben Cotier asks the question, which teams would you pick to reach the grand finals in each divisions? Ooh, tough. We'll come to that one after this point.
So Dixon with the pull.
Offside called.
We've got another game advisor here with Kat Galtabazovic. What happened? What quite happened there with the game advisors? How are they affecting the offside rulings? Maybe Liam Kelly will give us fill in some gaps here.
So the game advisors signal when they see that the team is offside, and they give an X in the air. It's responsibility of the team to accept that by also putting an X in the air just before they catch it. The first time it happens, it's just a warning and a repull. All subsequent offsides is field position.
Do the teams have to call offside if the advisors indicate it?
No, they do not. So if the pull is bad, they won't.
Thank you, Lynn. Back with play now, and a good pull by GB.
Austria sending the disc over the top. Nice quick shot to Wolfgang Mitterer. Mitterer, only one option available, uses it. 66 Osel. Bid from Great Britain.
Steve Dixon.
Mitterer collects it nevertheless and goes down the line. Mitterer advancing. Oh, almost tried to milk that a little bit too much. Got a knock on his hand in the process. Mitterer being greedy down the line. The disc was floating and he was running alongside it. Almost got caught out by Great Britain's poaching. Trying to sweep that disc off, but
another quick shout out to Elise Clough or Bobby. She's saying she hopes this game doesn't end up like the Austrian Alps versus Milton Keynes. Watching from her home in Lymington. Nice Lymington she's written there. Lymington. She might have misspelled Leamington, but it says Lymington on Twitter. Oh, and a correction. Saiz, of course, living in Newcastle these days. I know him from the old days in Sheffield Steel.
A tweet from the previous game. Claire Hussey watching the previous game, the Aussie women, and commenting that I'm keeping warm in the British summer weather. Yeah, I have many layers on. Austria back in this game, short of their end zone line by about 10 metres. Swinging the disc to the centre of the pitch, trying to remove a bit of the pressure. All the Austrians stacked at the side of the end zone. A slip on this greasy surface. Mitterer with the disc once more, and another stoppage. Stall out called. Not accepted. A tap on the top of the head from the game advisors indicates the call that's been made. Game advisor just coming in to listen to the conversation, make sure he understands what call is being made and what the discussion sounds like between the two players. Slap of hands. And it's a turnover, conceded by the 7 shirt. If you do know who number 7 for Austria is, please do send us a tweet, because he's not on our roster at the moment and he's making a lot of plays, so we'd like to know who he is.
So Declan Cartwright taps in so that both teams can move. Hillman walking up to the disc. Another 3-4 set by the GB boys. Poole going deep immediately for Rowledge. Can he keep it in? Yes, he can. And there's a lovely jogging goal there for Rowledge.
The acceleration of Rowledge is really quite impressive. What an athlete. He's proved himself at the opening game against the USA to be one of the fans' favourites with these outrageous moves in some of the defensive blocks he tried to get.
Yeah, I think he got like 4 layout blocks in that first game.
Announced himself onto the international stage with some aplomb in that first game. Great Britain clawing their way back into this one, showing that Austria are not going to have it all their own way, putting them under enough pressure to get that turn and scoring one of their own nice, aggressive, deep shot offensive points. That was the thing that they were missing in the first 6 points of this game. They trailed 5-1 after the first 6 points of this game. Not really taking the deep option, not really stretching the Austrians, and making a few too many mistakes. Is this a problem that Great Britain have had in games you've seen before, David, where they've made a slow start to the game? Certainly in the US against the USA in the opening game, they struggled to get going early on.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been lucky in their other games in that they've been able to get a few breaks early and get that lead, but another offside call there by Austria, and that's their second offside call.
So Austria are going to take the disc to the middle of the pitch this time. So they've conceded yardage.
And as we've just been told by Liam Kelly, they'll set up as if it's a timeout, so they'll just they'll have to both set and start from the middle of the pitch there. So GB need to sort their offsides out as well.
No, they won't do that again. I think the penalty that this gives them at the start of the point is a huge one. Sebastian Petersdorfer for Austria. Hammer. Mitterer. Great shot from Mitterer to the middle of the pitch. Menz. Outstretch arms over the top. Mistake the second time round. It was almost cleaned up by Jan Novak. But it's back to Great Britain.
So Mead instantly got it centred to Cartwright, who's got no force on, so he's got some time. Looks a bit disappointed though. He wasn't able to use the fact he was poached to his advantage.
Pit called.
Returning back to our previous point, as I said, GB were lucky that they've got away to early starts, apart from against the USA, where both teams were a bit sloppy. But when playing against them at Tour with 5 London, our team were able to apply enough pressure early in the game and force them to go down a few breaks, which they weren't able to come back from. But I'm hoping here, where they've had time to work on their mental toughness and their teamwork, means they can get their play back on the book that they're playing from. So Cheeky little hammer now to Mead under a lot of pressure. With 2 Austrians and 2 GB players underneath it.
That was a hospital pass if I've seen one. Time in the air for Sebastian Petersdorfer to come across. And he crushed everybody underneath him. 66 was in there, Dominic Osel. 2 Great Britain players as well.
I've just seen walking into the stands here, Lewis Glover, Fire of London legend. Many of you at home will know him from London, but also from Hong Kong, where he now lives and plays. Probably coming here to watch the young talent that we see on show at under-23s.
My Brunel University team played against Lewis's Sublime team in a friendly match on the first season I ever played Ultimate, and we spotted that Lewis was one to watch because he gave us compliments on the way we played, even though they beat us. In fact, they annihilated us, but he still said that it was the parts of our game that he admired. So if you can learn from something from the team you beat, it was always something we saw in Lewis was we could learn a lot from.
Yeah, one of the nicest Sublime players. And talking of nice Sublime players, William Rowledge here for GB, having a storming week so far. Just been told he's 20 years old, so it's quite a young player for the under-23 division. But it's his birthday today. Oh, that's incredible. I didn't know that. So he's 20 today. So he was 19, now 20. So happy birthday to Mr. Rowledge there. GB allowed to get the disc back. Going deep straight away to the man I'm just talking about, Rowledge. Doesn't like the goal he sees, but gets it to Cartwright for a toe-in. Happy, but there is a call. Back with Williams here. I'm guessing a travel of some...
Stall out. Stall out is the signal. Hand on the head from the game advisor.
And of course, we've had a few stall outs in this game and lots of discussion around them.
It was a great shot when he put it, but he needed to put it on 9.5, not 10.
As long as the defender says T and it is a second, then it's not a fast count. That would be a stall out.
Jan Novak in the 11 shirt facing the camera and having that discussion. The 2 game advisors listening in as well now. We'll try and get this resolved nice and quickly. There's a fair few fans in the stadium enjoying this game between Austria and Great Britain. And hope wherever you're watching it, you're enjoying it as well. Sky Magazine's coverage from World Under-23 Ultimate Championships here in London. And Tom Stiles. Oh, well, yes, that'd be great, Liam, if you could explain what happened then.
So there was a discussion about a stall out, and it was a contested stall out. The game advisor then said, what more than likely said that he disagreed, so the disc goes back only 1 pass. So there was a goal, but continuation only extends to 1 pass. So he has a disc now in front of the end zone.
Like Liam says, Rowledge now with the disc right on the end zone line. Almost the same cuts again. And not quite the outcome that we had before.
It's critical turnover for Austria, putting enough pressure on there. Rowledge a bit hesitant with his disc choices into the end zone.
Yeah, and he didn't look very happy with himself, as I'm sure anyone would be with that throw.
Austria an opportunity with Sebastian Petersdorfer, Mitterer, the younger Mitterer brother, Wolfgang. Moving it nicely with Menz, sends a deep shot into the end zone. There's going to be some pressure from this. Great Britain getting position on that second time round. The position from the Great Britain defender getting ahead of Dominic Osel. Osel, no complaints about that.
Yeah, some lovely D there by Mead. Able to get his foot speed up, get on the right side of him. And got it on the second attempt there, so he's also now picking up, which some would say is a bit risky, but these boys are better than that. Wants that break option, but not quite free. Williams able to come back though and help out. Williams swings it across to 22. 22 gets it back to Burak. Burak, pretty much no one with him. Gives it back to number 22. Sorry, that's Sax Dixon to Burak. teammates from University of Birmingham. Burak with a cheeky little dad pass there down the line to Mead. Mead to Williams. Williams doing some very good cutting upfield to get free. To Rowledge. Rowledge gives it to 22, goes straight for the hammer, and sacks Dixon now with a lovely goal there, getting them back within one. 7-6 Austria.
So their half-time time cap has gone on. It'll be 8:30 rather than 9:30. And great play from Great Britain, recovering from the Rowledge mistake and scoring that one. Lots of passes required to get it into the end zone, but the hammer opening up. And I think Great Britain playing their best when they do manage to get the disc across to the break side, exposing the Austrian defence.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. They've definitely dialed in some of their weaker options, and they're making better decisions now, keeping the disc, taking their time, and taking on 80% options rather than the 50% options we saw earlier on in the game.
Carla Link is watching on the stream. Come on, boys, she says. And Swift Ultimate also says, supporting the GB boys. Can't wait to come down on Friday. Hoping to see GB in the finals. Thanks for the great coverage. If you are watching us, the best way to get the attention of myself and David is either a direct tweet to either of us or @Skyd Magazine or hashtag WU23UC World Under 23 Ultimate Championships, WU23UC.
We've also now got a tweet from the GB Women's Masters supporting at home. Let's go, lads. Hashtag Team Jules, supporting their teammate, the coach here, Julia Murray.
This goes out from that pull. It's going to be brought to the brick mark by Austria. Frustration, James Mead.
At least they're not offside this time.
No, that's going to be something they'll be watching out for the rest of this game. Peter Storfer starts. Big Michael Geisel sends it. Pressure underneath is Wolfgang Mitter, not the tallest player, but he's going to try and get up. And a double grab.
Oh.
I think the Great Britain Great Britain defender had his hand on that first, but Mitra got up well. We both grabbed it at a very similar time.
We literally have the worst perspective for that, I think. I mean, it's one of those situations where you had to be there, but they've asked for some advice, and the advisors discuss it. It's very hard to call from up here.
It looks like the opinion's been given, and Mitra not happy with it.
I think the advisors will have given just the rules.
This is the decision is still with the players at this point, but Great Britain, I think if it was so close, it doesn't matter which way that decision went, one of those two players is going to be very disappointed that the decision hadn't gone their way. But as it is, it's Great Britain that sends that disc back. No turnover. Austria still have possession, no point either.
I did enjoy the Frisbee replay we got there of the disc coming in. A staple of a Frisbee tournament.
Got to have a good slow-mo replay. No, Austria. Geisel with another opportunity. Flicks over the top of Great Britain's Cartwright. Beard flying Mead. Doesn't get it. Geisel unaware of that disc coming towards him, but he manages to grab on and flick his head around, and just in time and just easily pops it in for Mitter, who spikes that in a really angry way. He's wound up by that point earlier, and that's not going to create too much warm feeling between these two teams. The half is taken. It's 8-6 Austria. Great Britain going behind early to a 5-1 lead from the Austrian, and they've managed to rein that back in, but mistakes from both teams making this an exciting one to watch. You're watching Skyd Magazine's coverage of the Open Division game between Austria and Great Britain. This is a power pool match. Austria finishing top of their pool. I think Great Britain finishing second in theirs, losing to the USA in the opening match, but apart from that, solid performance from Great Britain throughout their pool games. And I'm Tom Stiles, and I'm joined up here by David Price from the show game. David, your view on the game so far?
Yeah, GB definitely came out very slow at the beginning there, allowing Austria to take on deep shots and not really applying any pressure on defense. I think they went down 5-1 early on, but took a few timeouts, regrouped, and were able to reel in their offense, making sure that they're taking the pressure off themselves, allowing their D-line to come out and get a few breaks back. So that now we're back within 2. I believe they're coming out on offense. And it's a very important game here, as Tom alluded to. It's a pool game where the GB have taken in a loss and a win, whereas Austria have taken in 2 wins. They'll also be playing, I believe, Ireland and Australia as their other pool games, power pool games, sorry.
This is really playing for positions in the quarter-final, isn't it? So even if they finish 4th in the pool, they'll still go through to a quarter-final. Oh no, is it just semis? It might just be semis.
I think it might just be semis from the top 2
yeah.
from the power pool.
Yeah, so this is absolutely crucial game, isn't it? Position in the... Sorry, the Open Division definitely has quarter-finals.
Score update, GB versus Austria.
Someone on Twitter will confirm that for us. Trying to keep track of all the different schedule permutations and combinations in this tournament. 3 different schedules for 3 different divisions. Women's playing a big pool with 9 teams in it. The mixed has got 12 teams in it. They're playing 2 pools of 6. Open division 20 teams. They played 4 pools of 5, and then power pools of 6 with smaller pools of 4 in them. And then we think.
I think it is quarter semis now.
Quarter semis, yeah. So what they really don't, what neither team wants, is to finish too low in the power pool, because that'll mean a very tricky quarter-final. And even if they get through the quarter-final, they'll have a very tricky semi-final. But if you're going to win a tournament, you've got to beat all the teams in front of you, and it doesn't really matter at which stage you meet them. Great Britain losing that opening game to the USA, but showing that they had the ability to score against them and compete. And certainly the second half of that opening show game was a mighty contest between the North American powerhouse of a USA Ultimate and the young men of Great Britain. And we've got sponsorship for this tournament from VC and Discraft, and we're also working with Eric, an awareness charity looking at health and well-being of young people, and particularly looking at the early recognition of cancer. We've got a small advert to show you for that now.
I'm Cassandra Paulo.
And I'm Jim Garanson.
And we founded Eric.
Eric is a nonprofit that teaches kids body awareness through Ultimate Frisbee.
We're going to teach your kids about sportsmanship, spirit of the game, conflict resolution. They're going to have a great time, an amazing message about cancer, that it's not something that's not a death sentence. It's not something you need to be scared of. It's something that you need to have a winning attitude towards, like an opponent on a field.
Go Team Eric!
No, there are. Yeah, they're well, on defence, they're not playing tight at all. Well, that's what the Austrians have been able to break and move quickly. It's just slow, but that's slow. I think they're better than they're playing. Like against Colombia, they were. You mean GB? They look like they're scared to break. They look like they're scared to break. They're farther down. They need to step up a little bit. Are we going back on now, boys? It's 30 seconds.
Myself and David Price at the top of the stands here at the University College London Sports Ground. A little bit chilly in the breeze. It's coming straight over our shoulders. The flags at the top of the stands blowing out across the seating, creating a small swirl, but no real wind issues to deal with today. The skies have cleared from this morning's heavy rain before the first game. Both the women's teams playing in the first match were playing completely soaking wet, as they got their last 5 minutes before the game started was played. All their warm-ups done in completely torrential downpours. And we've got 30 seconds or so before the teams take to the pitch to start this second half. Sky magazine coverage brought to you across the world, across the internet. And we've got some local students from a local school nearby that have come to join us here in the stands and enjoy some Great Britain Ultimate.
So my fact for before the half was wrong. It looks like Austria are actually on offence, giving them the chance to go 9-6. But the score is currently 8-6 here. GB pulling on defence and not offside once again.
Austria, the yellow hats stacked in the middle of the pitch, darting around. Good cut, Rowledge covering, but the disc goes up, it's going to go deep. Wolfgang Mitter underneath this one. Oh, it's a beautiful cut from Mitterer. So much time and space getting off the back of that stack nice and early. An easy goal for Austria. They lead Great Britain 9-6. The second half off to the wrong sort of start for Great Britain. Austria extending their lead. Having got off to a very quick start, they led this one 5-1 at the beginning of the game. And Great Britain have clawed it back to get to 8-6. In fact, they were at 7-6 just before the half. Austria took the half, and they've extended their lead again in this second half. Tom Stiles and David Price up here covering it for Sky. And David's going to be doing the play-by-play for Great Britain when they're on O. I'll be doing the play-by-play for Austria when they're on O.
Yeah, doing a good job there, considering you don't know any of the names. Just using the numbers here for the roster. A couple of them are wrong. I'm hoping to sort a lot of those out by the end of the tournament. And I'm lucky that I've played against and even with some of these GB under-23 players. Able to do a lot of warm-up in the UK tour. Playing very well there, even beating the GB senior D-line at Tour 2, which was held here. The tournament called London's Calling. But here you go, GB now on offense. Hodges gets it around to Hammond. Very far now in the back of the end zone. There's a few two deep players here that need to come and help. Strasser goes under. Gets it on that near sideline. Goes back to Hammond, who swings it instantly to Hillman. Hillman having a good game. Nice and solid. Hillman gets it over to Lewis. Fire to fire. Back to Hammond of Devon. Devon to Strasser. Strasser, puts it behind Hammond. Not able to hold on to it even on the first or second bid.
Yeah, difficult shot. He was running fast, Hammond there, and the disc's slightly over his shoulder. Clemens Kogard comes to pick up quickly, dishes it to the tall figure, it sends it over the head, and it's an easy point for Austria, using the trick that was so effective for Great Britain earlier in this game, the hammer, and that's 2 points straight after the half for turn and burn for Austria, putting the pressure on this Great Britain side, and new mistakes are going to be punished. And we saw the tall figure, Michael Geisel, there in the 17 shirt, really dominating physique. It's been impressive in the plays we've seen him involved in so far. And 44, Clemens Kogard there, completely opposite sort of stature, much shorter, much slighter player, but both of them having a real impact here. 10-6 they lead this one.
I think I've worked out why GB Open are doing the shout-outs for other clubs. They do 5 London, they do Clapham, which would be, you could argue, some have argued, a large part of GB Open, and the USA. Those are some of the only teams that have beaten this GB team.
Do shout-outs for the teams that have beaten them?
Potentially.
Potentially, we think this is a theory.
I've got a theory going there, but we'll come back to you on that one.
We'll explore that one a little further. Great Britain have got the disc now.
Mead gets it to Cartwright. Both of Chevron Action Flash fame. Cartwright back to Poole. The most standout receiver. Poole swings it over to Guys. Straight over to the sideline to Cartwright. GB doing very well at taking this side to side, but not able to get it going forwards in the direction of the end zone. A lot of fakes there from Guys, but it looks like there's a pick in the stack. A little quick shout out to Nick Moss, the twin brother of the Show Games and Ulti-Photos photographer, Andrew Moss. He's trying to write his Viva, but he's watching the GB game here. Timeout called by Guys. Probably a good choice. Under a lot of pressure here, GB, from the Austrian defense. And they really want to make sure they get this point in and stay within touching distance.
So Claire Hussey still tuned in from the far side of the planet, our Antipodean friend, ex-GB women's player. And she's now basing herself in Melbourne, I believe. Hello, Claire. Had a big impact when she was playing in Great Britain. And has had a big impact since she's moved down under. Enjoying the coverage. If you do want to send us a tweet, we're on hashtag WU23UC. Myself and David are also on Twitter directly if you want to get us, at Tom Styles for me, and
at David_Price for me. You can also contact me on at The Show Game, where I've actually got a tweet from Valentin Fischer from Austria. He's just questioning whether there are any warm feelings between Austria and GB. Yeah, it does appear there's been a few little, calls that have gone on for quite a while, but I don't know, they're getting along fine so far.
And Nico Rapotanig says, in case you haven't found out yet, number 7 for Austria is Leon Dovitz. Oh, he's down as 69 on my roster. That's why we've missed him out. So Leon Dovitz, who's on the sideline at the moment with the yellow cap. Number 7, Leon Dovitz. We'll try and get that one in there. Thank you, Nico. Their social media bringing in the information right as we need it.
So coming out of the timeout now, Guys on the disc, not able to change without losing some stall counts. Very short hoe sack, immediately isolating a deep option, not able to get it to him. Cartwright now on the disc, got something down the line when Poole gets it nice to the under Guys. Guys going deep to sack Stixon, who trails it in under a lot of pressure. GB using that timeout effectively, and getting the goal to go 10-7.
We've been impressed by the defender there, Philip Kral, earlier in that point, but Sax Dixon positioning his body in the way of Kral early on. And despite the relentless pressure of the Austrian, they brought that disc down. Impressive stuff. If you're watching and you're wondering which way the wind is going, it's coming over our shoulders. So we're sitting opposite the camera in the top of the stands, and the wind is blowing basically towards the camera, over our heads and across the pitch, but it will be swirling a little bit around this far side of the pitch from where you're looking as it comes over the stand. Stands always have an impact on the wind on the adjacent pitch. And the stand is a good 10 metres back from the edge of the sideline, but nevertheless there will be some impact there. GB trail Austria 10-7 in this open division power pool match from the WFDF World Under-23 Ultimate Championships here from University College London, Great Britain. Pull the disc, big floaty high number. And it comes down to Leon Dovitz. Straight away to Sebastian Petersdorfer. Petersdorfer got no real options to throw out. A big bid from Great Britain, but it's not enough to stop the advancing Austrians. His disc goes low, and it's going to go very low. It's going to be too far out of the side of the pitch. Wolfgang Mitra bidding hard, but not able to keep it.
And that disc went out quite early, meaning that GB can bring it forward.
Game advisor indicating where the disc should come back here.
So that's good for GB. Able to pull the disc a bit further nearer towards the goal line they're trying to score in.
What do you think Great Britain need to do now, David? In order to start being a bit more consistent on their offensive points?
I think they're getting there. I mean, they started it in the end of that the end of that first half, just recycling the disc, taking on options that they're certain are on. But I'm not sure if the way that they're setting up this host act, which is quite shallow, means that the Austrians know they want to go deep, and the Austrians are, on general, quite a tall team. They're prepared for that deep shot more. They might want to try and maybe go vert, maybe go some sort of split stack and isolate players in lanes more, giving them more options upfield.
Lots of cuts coming, but only one or two of them available. The deep shot's gone now.
And there we go. There's that isolation I'm talking about. Ben Parsons not able to toe it in. Just right here on the end zone line. And a cheeky little granddad pass to Hillman. Almost no spin, but a lot of wobble. Not a problem for Andrew Hillman. That's a break now. 10-8 to Austria.
Parsons on a high stall when he let out the barbecue pass there, wasn't he? He could hear and the shouts from behind him, completely unmarked Hillman. And impressive stuff. Lots and lots of cuts from that host stack position at the start there. Great Britain, no shortage of enthusiasm, but the options, they seem to be looking for a solid 100% passes. So you're getting 5 cuts come and only 1 pass, and then another 5 cuts come and only 1 pass. I just wonder how sustainable that is to maintain that level of athleticism and pace.
Well, these boys have been training for a while now, and I'm sure they've been in the gym and at the track, making sure they can put in as much effort at every cut they're making, every bid they're playing. And they've got long lines. I mean, they've got three lines of players here, which means that when they're on the pitch, they can put in 100%. So that when they come off, their teammates can go on and do the same for them.
Remember, halfway through the training schedule, Jules put a tweet out saying, one of my boys has asked me, why so many squats? Surely the question should be, why aren't there more squats?
They've got to trust in their coach for that one. So Austria now on offense, trying to hold.
Petersdorfer with the disc. Nice disc out to Dragasnig. Gazel. Oh, Gazel just drops it to the floor. This might be the opportunity Great Britain need to start the catch-up. Mead walking to the disc.
Yeah, Mead yet again. That central handler. Goes deep straight away to Strazo. Made a nice setup cut. Sorry, that's Rowledge. That's the man, Rowledge. And that's that. And another break for GB. Now within 1, 10-9.
Yeah, Jan Novak completely schooled by Rowledge's undercut. And the understanding between Mead and Rowledge was there. As soon as Rowledge started coming under, Mead started winding up. He knew he was going to go deep, and the disc is round Jan Novak into the corner.
Austrians don't look like they want to play even. There's only 5 or 6 of them on the field, and they're only walking up to the pitch. All of GB are on their line, ready to play, ready to be called on to represent their nation.
This game's really about momentum now, and the momentum's definitely the team in white. Early on, the Austrians were bubbling and lively and cheering each other, but they know that they're in a real tussle this one, and despite the lead, things aren't looking quite so good for the Austrian team. They do still have excellent ski resorts, though, as one of our colleagues from the grandstands here keeps reminding us every time he waves his flag. Come to Austria skiing, he says.
We've also had a few more tweets. Got Andy Mitchell, a previous GB under-23 in Toronto. He's now living out in well, at least he's visiting in Australia, saying good luck to GB from Jack and Andy in Sydney. Hope you're enjoying the coverage over there in Sydney. It's nice to see people from all over the world watching. Austria now on defense, and there's a deep shot up.
Big disc going up into the air. It's going to fly high. It's going to be pressure from Great Britain. A big bid, but it's not enough to stop the outstretched Dominic Osel. Grabs that disc high, despite the pressure from Great Britain.
And what was a really nice bid by Matt Aspen. All the other GB lads just making sure their teammates okay. Austria there, though, with a lovely bit of offense to score that goal.
If that disc hadn't been absolute perfection, Maspin was all over it, but it was a good disc for the Austrians. They've re-steadied the ship, 11-9. The show game boys struggling a little bit. We'll go and have a chat over there. If you want to get in touch with us on Twitter, hashtag is WU23UC, WU23 UC World Under-23 Ultimate Championships. And Tom Stiles and David Price bringing you the commentary in this open division for Sky magazine. The game is a power pull game between Austria and Great Britain.
It's been very exciting so far. A really high pull there from Austria. It might even just float out. I don't know what they were thinking.
It's a great illustration of which way the wind's coming from, isn't it? Because that disc looked like it was going to land in the middle of the pitch, but it's caught the breeze above the stands and disappeared. He might not have been able to feel the breeze so high in the sky from where he was standing when he threw it. For
those of you who've been watching our coverage already, I've already had a rant about pulls, but GB go deep straight away and not able to bring it down under a lot of pressure. 3 Austrian defenders streaking along with him.
Yeah.
Benedict Poole there.
Geisel with the big grab. The tall Austrian athletic figure. Mead trying to stop that disc going deep. Oh, and a big clatter. An apology immediately to Thomas Mitterer. He knew he overstepped the mark a little bit there. Mitterer is a strong player. He's been playing at the very highest level for a very long time already, despite his youth. 77 shirt. Gets ready to tap this one in. And nice to see the players apologising despite the competitive nature of this game. Disc lasers across Michael Geisel on the far side of the pitch. Mitterer with a strong wrist, making great throws whenever he's needed to, whenever it's asked of him. Doppelbauer, big bid from Cartwright. Moyek, Doppelbauer. Mitterer goes to his knees to get that one, and a slip in the middle of the pitch, and the disc has gone deep. It's pressure on Geisel. Geisel goes down, and no complaint from the big Austrian as the Great Britain defence manages to prevent the Austrians scoring.
Yeah, it's a lot better defence there by GB. I think they were doing some sort of forced middle. You could hear from the sideline the changes in the force, able to be very, very much tighter than they were in the first half. So now Walsh picking up, goes down the open lane to Poole. Poole wants to go the same sort of thing. They're very much pushing it down this open side. Parsons now on the disc. Gets a very cheeky backhand to Poole, who puts it straight up to Will Rowledge, who makes it look very easy under pressure. Yet again, reeling in that goal, but there's been a call on the field. Potential potential travel or stall out called there.
So he's on the far side of the pitch there. Luca Obermeyer is marking Parsons. Is it a timeout? Is it a stall count he's claiming? It did look like a bit of a loose disc, so certainly the stall count was high when Parsons sent that disc up. And Luca Obermeyer and Parsons having a chat with the game advisor, listening in and seeing what the conversation is. But Rowledge again proving, in this case, for nothing, but proving again that he's great with the deep shots. The receiver is quite a player.
I've had a tweet here from Rory Curran of Glasgow Ultimate with respect to my chant theory. He correctly states that Glasgow did beat U23s at Open Tour 1 and doesn't know where their chant are, but I'm pretty sure Glasgow don't have any like quintessential chant, so maybe we'll have to create one for you guys, and if my theory is correct, of course. But the discussion on the field here is still going on. Pretty much undecided.
It's quite nice, that, isn't it, to honour the teams that have beaten you?
I'd hope so. I mean, that's the theory we're going with, but maybe I'll have to ask. But Parsons appears to be getting the disc back.
So if it is coming back in, it'll be coming back in on 9, so this will be an instant shot, and it is an instant shot into the space.
It's floating really high, and the defender's got all the time there. Benedict Poole there playing some great defense, you could argue, getting a big hand to it, but he's also made a call. So there's a foul on the play. Difficult to see how that Geisel seemed to have the position on the disc there. Benedict Poole coming over the back of him. Not sure what the call is he's making. Did you have a perspective on that, David? Nothing much I could add to that, really. It did look like Geisel was in front of him. I guess the argument might be that he was able to get a hand to it, and the Geisel stopped his hand. They're asking for some advice. So Poole was up early. Maybe he did get a grab and felt it is a turn. It's been indicated a turn. So Geisel's defense gets the result they were after. Disc is brought to the front of the end zone. And we see Doppelbauer brings it to the line, picks up. Darting runs from the Austrians. Pressure from Rowledge to try and get a Callahan, but the disc has gone up. It's going to go big. There's going to be 3 Great Britain players underneath that, and an easy D in the end for Great Britain. Burak there making up some ground. Instantly gets it to Thomas Cartwright. Again, left alone with no one near him. Walsh, I don't know if that's a pick. He seemed a long way away. You can see here on the pitch, he's a good 20, 30 metres apart now. Depending on how far long ago it was. Florian Moyek looked like he slipped as he was trying to change directions there. Looks like trying to avoid somebody. Yeah, it looks like the disc is staying out there, is it? Looks like there's a bit of confusion. Oh, there's a self-tap. Okay, so it was a pick. Walsh on the disc. Austria now. Oh. Another call. Looks like another pick. So Walsh still on the disc, still 0. Still 1, sorry. So disc tap back in. Goes around to Poole. Austria there poached off, expecting the down the line, and then took each other out, as well as Cartwright on offense. A bit of a cheeky play from Philip Kral there. Just, I mean, by all means, take the, try and cover that up the line pass, but you've got to keep aware of the fact that there is somebody going to be running into that space. You can keep an eye out for them. Just seem to crash straight into him. Great Britain have got the disc again. So there's Burak looking deep for Rowledge, who's not able to bid over Geisel's shoulder there.
Geisel-Rowledge partnership producing fireworks at every opportunity here. Mitterer with the disc down to Dragerslig
And they've
and
called a timeout.
A little bit hot under the collar, both of these teams at the moment. There's a few calls going up there. Crowell actually making the point of coming across to Cartwright there. You could see it upset him and gave him a quick apology, and I think that goes a long way under these pressure situations. Crowell involved with that incident, just crashing straight into Cartwright off the disc, trying to fill the space that Cartwright was running into, but a little bit more awareness from the Austrians probably be beneficial for everybody. 11-9, the Austrians lead Great Britain in this open power pool play from the World Under-23 Championships. Myself, Tom Stiles and David Price bringing you the commentary.
Yeah.
And the colour.
I've got another question here from JRRTNJ. Not sure where's he from. He's a Cambo Cakes player from Amsterdam. He's asking, why aren't there players on your side of the pitch? All players are standing on the camera side. Any idea why? Tom?
So this was something that was brought up in the captain's meeting, that during any games that should be taking place on the show pitch, in order to allow the spectators in the stands to have an unobstructed view of the game, all players are to stand on the camera side of the pitch. And I don't think it's actually obstructing the camera at all, so not a problem there. In fact, where the players should stand is both been very clearly delineated and also respected by the players quite well so far in this tournament. So there's 3 metre and 5 metre marks, dotted lines next to the side of the pitch. The 3 metre line, the players must stay behind. 5 metre mark is for any other spectators. That's been generally respected, I think I've seen as we've been going around the tournament.
There was a warning in the newsletter to make sure you keep respecting that. There have been a few times where advisors or players have got into that 3 metre zone and caused a few little issues with the game advisors or just their fellow players, where it's just for safety and for making sure that the players can, throw those discs that go in, around and out of the pitch and come back in.
That's your pivot space, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you're on the edge of the
essentially,
pitch, you want to pivot out there and you want to send that round the curving disc. Austria about to get this game back underway after that timeout. And Straya Costa Doppelbauer.
Another call.
Another call. It's a call fest at the moment.
Yeah.
Out here. And we're seeing this Rowledge-Geisel partnership. 17 shirt for Austria and the 15 shirt for Rowledge for Great Britain. Big partnership. It's gone up high, almost above Philip Crowell, but what athleticism he's got to bring that down, and a disc right through a pack of players into space. Just shy of the end zone. He's not going to find any space in there. Back to Obermeier into the end zone, and it's picked up neatly off the floor by Thomas Mitterer, stalwart Austrian player, and the Austrians extend their lead 12-9. Really starting to establish themselves in this second half of the game, despite big efforts from Great Britain.
Yeah, and it's just been pointed out on Twitter from Emily Darling of Bristol, nice Bristol. There's been a lot of calls in this half. And she's only got half an hour for her lunch, so these boys want to hurry up. It would really help out Emily.
Emily's been on the BBC,
I think, all of Nice Bristol's went on the BBC last year before they went to World Ultimate Club Championships in Lecco.
They did a great job with their fundraising activities, really raising the profile of their team and the sport in general. I think Emily was bantering with Ruby Wax.
Yeah, they were trying to teach Ruby Wax and some other BBC One Show types how to play Ultimate. And we've had a lot of media coverage here, not just from the likes of us on the show game and Skyed and Ultiworld are here also, but some external sources like we've had a picture in the Independent, I believe BBC Radio 3 did a piece, and people like Hearts Radio have also been doing things, and the Metro earlier this week also had a piece on Ultimate Frisbee. So back with the game, Parsons down the disc, looking deep and doesn't want to quite take it on. gets it back to Hammond, who swings it to Strasser. Strasser wants that reset, finds Hammond, streaking down that lane. And then Hodges. Hodges resets to Hammond, back to Hodges and Hammond, all the H's. Across to Strasser. Sorry, to Hillman, another H. Then Parsons. Some nice little weaves going on here. Hillman to Hammond to Lewis. Lewis, cheeky little high release flick to Hodges. Goes straight down the line to Parsons. Gets it back to Hodges, who tosses it to Hammond. Lovely bit of offense there, not allowing the Austrians to settle at all. With a great goal, 12-10 to Austria.
Clemens Kogard lost his footing, was down on the ground, and that allowed the Great Britain a free man, and they used that free man to with great ease to get that disc in. The tight one-on-one defence that the Austrians were running there just fell to bits the moment Clemens Kogard lost his footing. Impressive patience from Great Britain.
Yeah, that was a very good bit of offence, able to take the options that were on, and take advantage of that slip that the Austrians had. Got some more tweets coming in. I'm enjoying this interaction, guys. Keep it up. From Sam Rayner, who I in fact taught how to play Ultimate back in at Sheffield. He's given me a fun fact that Will Rowledge has only been playing for 1.5 years.
What?
And was discovered by Sam Bowen in a leisure centre car park.
Wow, that's a big fact.
You should play Frisbee.
It'd be good. And he was. Amy Hall is tweeting as well. 2 screens for Amy. Austria are back with the disc. Peter Storfer and a pet call in the middle of the pitch.
Getting a bit of a chant here from GB Women. Probably preparing themselves to be on the show pitch later this afternoon.
Dob back in from Peter Storfer. Straight down to Wolfgang Mitterer, the younger of the 2 Mitterer brothers on this team. But confusion between the 2 Austrians. They're cutting into each other's space. Niederdorf for getting in the way a little bit. I know outstretched hands of Peter Storfer manages to keep that disc alive. Pressure from the Great Britain defence, almost causing a turnover as the disc goes low to the ground. Novak just keeping it up. Fast across the pitch into the end zone is going to be big pressure from Great Britain. What a grab from Benedict Poole, just pulling it out of the sky right as Peter Storfer thought he'd scored the point. Incredible stuff. Great Britain have the disc.
Poole centres and it goes straight across to Burak. Burak wants his reset, falls over a bit, but saved by Poole there. Poole stuck on this far sideline. Middles it to Burak, who just slips at the key point, allowing the Austrians a short field. And, not able to stop the goal again for the second time. Austria now 13-10 up.
Peter Storfer with that shot into the end zone. Sorry, I forgot it was me doing the play-by-play there when Austria got their disc. I get sucked into this game and watching it just like any fan would. 13-10 Austria lead. Yes, a slip from Great Britain, giving the disc back just on the edge of the zone. Careful, making sure that they were getting that point, having been given the disc. Opportunities missed by Great Britain, having worked so hard. Benedict Poole getting the turnover right on the edge of the line, stopping the Austrian point. Not able to keep that flow going. And the heads of the Great Britain players, a little bit of spring in the step gone. The heads dropping a little. Momentum with the Austrians once more. They're pumping the air with their fists, trying to get each other fired up. That game advisors wander over to the corner. 13-10 Austria over Great Britain in this open power pool match. Under 23 World Championships. Here from the capital of Great Britain. And big disc from Geisel, floats high. It might get caught in this wind we've talked about, and it might just go out of the pitch. No, it's going to stay.
Oh, that's a very good pull. It rolled out
to the cone.
Hodges able to bring it to the cone. Parsons on this near sideline. Resets to Hodges, who swings immediately to Hammond. some sort of call on Hodges' previous throw.
Was it a travel called?
Hodges asks for the advice of the advisor.
Clemens co-guard, claiming he changed direction and he was slowing down. Barely had the disc in his hand for a split second.
He's conceded that it was fine. Disc continued to Hammond. So we come back in on 0. Hammond, the captain, had a really good game against America with some lovely little hammers into the break side lane. Lewis to Hillman to Hammond. Hammond doesn't like the deep shot. Goes lofty to Strasser. Strasser getting quite high on the stall out, GB, but always having an option free. Hammond swings it to Parsons. Parsons resets to Hammond, then Hodges. Hodges centres to Lewis. Very much pinned here in the GB half. Strasser gets it down the line to Hammond. Lays it off to Hodges. Another call. This half has been all about the calls. A pick call here. As you can see by the hand signs of the WU23 advisors, as well as some of the players there.
Great Britain really not able to continue down this break side. They're breaking nicely to the far side of the pitch from where the camera is, but then seem to be having no continuation cuts a couple of times during that point.
So this has gone back to Hammond before the pick. Another call.
Cramp someone on the ground, is it? No, it's Luca Obermeier. Has he had his foot trodden on, or has he's got a cramp there? He's having to take a sub, so being replaced quite quickly. Obermeier up and about, not in any discomfort, just not able to continue at this point. 37 has been replacing. Julian Menz on for Austria. And Great Britain
back in with Hammond, back to Hillman. Gets over to Strasser. Oh, tries to squeeze it to Declan Cartwright. Didn't quite come off. There's very good defense there by the Austrian player.
Cartwright just slowing down as he approached that disc, and fast approaching Philip Král goes up and hits Philip Král underneath this one again. The face of the Austrians paying. Philip Král with double happiness. A block and a score for Král in the green hat as he cheers his way with the players.
That looks like that might be game.
The game, yeah.
There, Tom.
The cap has gone on, and Austria with a fantastic game against Great Britain. They win this one 14-10. Philip Král with the block and the score to take this one out. It was really a story of pressure from the Austrians and big marks, and the Great Britain slipping very early on in this game down to a 5-1, trailing Austria 5-1 at the start of the game, and really not able to get back into it enough to ever put the Austrians under significant pressure after that. They take this victory, and that could be absolutely key for those quarter-final positions. It's going to put Great Britain in 3rd place in this power pool. That's if they win the rest of their games.
Yeah, and they still have to play the likes of Ireland, who've had a very good tournament so far, but Ireland did in fact lose to Austria yesterday. Same score, 14-10. And Australia, who had a very good warm-up into this tournament. They beat the GB sort of mixed team with a few Clapham players allowed to come and play that game as well. So it's not going to be an easy few days for GB Open. This was a game that they probably would like to have won, and at times they looked like they had the Austrians, on the back foot. But like you say, Tom, they weren't able to convert those turns and weren't able to get enough breaks back to make up for that slow start.
The opportunities that they'd missed there are going to present themselves in future matches. Austrians, I think the big players, Thomas Mitterer and Michael Geisel, and I think Philip Král also had a great game. For Great Britain, we saw big plays from the continuing star, which is Will Rowledge. He's a growing name for this GB team. And some strong handling from James Mead as well, I thought.
Yeah, I'd say those two stood out quite strongly. I'd even hasten to add Benedict Poole there, who got some nice Ds and tried to make some nice grabs.
Nottingham's own Ben Poole.
Yep. And Emo stand out as well. But just not enough. Those players weren't able to pull the rest of the team's socks up and get them on the scoreboard enough to beat this Austrian team. There were a lot of calls, I'd say, just to add another point. But in general, it looked like they were handled pretty well. No one got particularly angry and the spirit seemed good to me.
Yeah, both teams seem to be fairly happy to play in that way, fairly physical, and part of that is getting bumped and blocked and knocked, and both teams were very keen to apologise when contact did occur. So we're going to wrap up our coverage for Sky Magazine at that point. I hope we've enjoyed the game we've been watching here. Austria beating Great Britain in the Open Division. We'll be back later on with more coverage. Check out skymagazine.com for all the details of the games that we're going to be covering. Until then, Tom Stiles
and David Price, thanks for watching, and check you out later.